Good evening and welcome to another diecast restoration. Tonight I'm going to do a restoration or start a restoration on this Matchbox series number 11 scaffolding truck. First made in 1969 according to the bottom of it. Now it's not in too bad a condition. I just recently purchased this off eBay with a job lot of other models. It's got a little bit of damage to the paint on the roof of the cab and various other parts of the truck itself. The wheels are in good condition, the base is in good condition, but I just feel that I just want to make it look really nice and new. I don't always restore trucks in this sort of condition or models in this sort of condition because I quite like the play patina, but quite a few people have asked me recently how I do these sort of things. Again, I keep getting asked, so I thought I'd just do another quick tutorial on this machine, on this model. I've got some replacement stickers for the side. These are water slide transfers from modelsupplies.com, so I shall be using those when the model is complete. Now, if anybody's got this model, you will notice that the base itself is plastic that hold the front wheels. That's quite good for me because that means I don't have to remove the front wheels, and this doesn't need spraying. However, what you will notice as well is there is a small rivet there to hold it in place. Now, I have to take off the rear wheels because obviously I'm going to be spraying all this, and I have found that with past experience, all you need to do, one side of the axle has been rounded off, obviously to stop the wheels from falling off, and all they've done here on the other side, instead of rounding it off, they've just flattened it to a point where there's a little burr or a ridge, and that keeps the wheel on itself. So with a bit of patience, and if I can find, I just had that, where I'll put it, a decent size pair of pliers, what you can do is just grip, and if you just pull, oops, without smashing the glass, if you just grip and pull, you should be able to just round off, or just squeeze, remove those little burrs. You're not damaging the wheel. I did have a pair of thinner pliers that are a bit, there they are. So the other option is just to get your Dremel out with a small grinding stone on it and just to grind away those little, that's easier, those little burrs. But don't worry, once this wheel goes back on, especially the way I do it, you won't really see this. It's been a bit of a, it's a hot, these axles are actually for 1969, the sort of metal they use, it's quite hard, so yeah, just nibbling away at these little burrs here. So hopefully that this wheel in a minute should he says slide off. This looks a bit barbaric, but let's give this a good pull. This side, it's slowly coming off. Sorry, I'm just doing this off camera. It's a little bit, as always, when you do this when you're not filming, they normally come off straight away. But you can guarantee when you've only got about 17-18 minutes of camera time, things don't always go to plan. So I'm just trying to pull this blooming wheel off. It's quite, oh, there we go. That's it, it's off. So I've literally just removed those little burrs. There's not too much damage to that, so what I'm going to do is, so I don't lose it, I pop that and that in there. So the next thing to do is just to drill out that little rivet. So get a drill bit, just line the bottom of the drill bit up with the rivet just to make sure you got the correct diameter. Now this is a 4mm drill bit, so that should drill that out nicely. So I'm just going to pop it into my cordless drill on a low setting. You don't need it fast at all. And bearing in mind this is plastic, you really just need to remove the edge. Don't go very fast at all. You really don't want to shaft that plastic. Just move it around a little bit just to remove the top of that rivet. Now this might take several attempts just to get it right, because as you press down the rivet does tend to splay out a little bit. So you just need to just gently, again, if you've got your pliers, just try and remove some of the bits that are splayed out the edge of it. Again, it can be a little bit fiddly. No, still not there. So a little bit more of the drill, just gently. Just small circular motions just to remove those little burrs. That looks good. Now you need quite a nice sharp drill bit for these. It's very soft alloy. There we go, and it's popped off. Brilliant. So I don't need to do anything with that bit of plastic. That's just fine as it is. And right, so what you might see is the plastic insert is also held in with a small rivet there. They're not always held in like that, so I've got to be very careful and again drill that out. Now it's approximately the same size as that rivet, so I have cracked these in the past, so I've got to be so careful just to gently drill that out, very slow speed. Oh. So again, that feels like it should come out. Now the other fun bit is how do you get that plastic insert out without snapping it? Well, somewhere on my very untidy bench I've got, there we go, like a little watchmaker's screwdriver, and usually that fits just nicely. In between, no, it doesn't want to shift, this one. Sometimes you just got to tease it away gently. Now again, sod's law, I'm filming this. This is going to be extra difficult, isn't it? Let's just try. I use this cotton bud and just, because that plastic's been in there for 50 years, 51 years, and it's probably got grime and all sorts stuck to the inside of it, and it's glued itself to the inside. Maybe there's a little bit of, so I'm just going to try and drill a bit more out. I don't want to go for the top of the cab, obviously. The circular motions, just trying to get that out. And just very patiently and very quickly trying to get rid of those little edges that are keeping the plastic from sliding out. Now I'm going to just do this for a few minutes and I'll be back in a second. Right, so with a bit of jiggery pokery, I've managed to get the plastic insert out. A little bit of scratching on the bottom, but you won't see that. That goes in there. Get rid of any swarf. There's just enough of this left in here to press back on that green insert, and with a little bit of glue it will stay there. So that is basically the model disassembled. Okay, my next job, what I'm going to do is, I've probably got, what's that, 5-6 mil of post there, rivet post, that I can drill out, so I can tap it and put a screw in. So next order of business is to remove the 4mm drill bit, and I swear by these. These are really good drill bits, Parkside. So what I do, put that back. Really sharp drills these are, really good quality, last for ages. 1.5, I've marked it. That's usually the depth of most rivet posts, if my camera decides to focus. So I'll put that in the drill. Okay, so again, I'm just going to drill down to where that masking tape is. That's roughly the depth of the post. So very gently. Drill down, pull back, just remove any swarf. Just remove any swarf, just keep doing that, just so you get a nice clean getting there. We're getting there. Keep your drill bit nice and clean. And that is it. That's all I need to do. That's deep enough. That was right up to the mark. And put the drill bit back. Always put your drill bits back, that way you know where they are. Cool. That's it. Now then, what I'm going to do now is a little miniature tap set here. I know which one is my 2mm bit, as I've put a 2 there, and also I've coloured in the end black. It's got this little tool here, flop that in there, tighten it right up, like that. So this is all I'm going to do, just tap, just very gently. Just go in millimetre by millimetre. Pull it out, go in again, just very gently, keep going until it, this is looking good. Keep tapping up any swarf. Now it's got little channels here, so it does capture most of it. Just one more little go. Just to get to the, that's it, that's as far as it's going. So it's quite soft alloy this, so it doesn't take too much time. Brilliant. So there's a 2mm thread cut into that, all ready for a screw to go in. Now, me and my recycling, I don't buy new screws. Where I work at Torbay, we get these old screws from Devices. 2 mils. They're Phillips. All I do is just cut them a little bit shorter. Now, that should go into there, into that thread. If I can get it to grip, there we go. Yeah, so that goes in quite nicely. That's good. No, brilliant. I'm happy with that. So I'm just going to cut down this screw. So I used to measure this, but you can do it by eye. So if you line it up to where the rivet post is, top of the screw. So I roughly want to chop. Just remember you've got a couple of mil on the base plate as well of the plastic insert. So if I chop it off about there, that should be long enough. I can always grind it down afterwards. So with a very sharp pair of side cutters here, just going to get hold of it, and there we go. Just heard the piece of metal fly off somewhere. Just, oh hello, he's dropped it. I've got to do then is just gently file it off. And then hopefully, with a little bit of encouragement, what I normally do is put a little 2 mil nut on the end and then just turn it off so I know that I've got a good thread at the end there. But this does, oh see, this is the trouble, it's pinged off. I've lost it. Right, so I found the tiny screw, there it is. Just had to chop it down a little bit further because it was a bit too long. So again, that will go in there. Right, so a lot of people say, how'd you strip the paint off? I use sandpaper, I use steel wool, is it wet and dry, some people use. It's very simple. Right, get yourself a jar. What I've done is made myself up a little wire handle so I don't need to touch it. You then get something very nasty. Dun, dun, dun. Caustic soda. Now for a model this size, get yourself a little measuring device, an old detergent one this is, Vanish I think it was. You don't need a lot. Probably about that much, maybe a couple of tablespoons. Pop that in there. That's probably a little bit too much actually. Put the lid on. Now, I do emphasise, can't emphasise this enough, wear PPE. If you don't know what PPE stands for, you shouldn't be doing it. Personal Protective Equipment. You should be flipping used to hearing that by now with all the COVID malarkey. So, I'm just trying to clean up my mess. Oh, that just went straight on the floor, never mind. So, that is what I'm going to use. Now, what I'm going to do is not fill it up, I'm going to place the model inside, like that. I'm going to put nearly boiling water in. Now, I'm not going to do this here because there's no ventilation. I tend to use vinyl or rubber gloves. Heavy rubber gloves are better, and a face mask. Now, ideally, if you're doing it in a really enclosed area, you need a proper respirator mask, but you can get away with one of these. Obviously, COVID, it's FFP3, just to stop any fumes from entering the lungs as much as possible. You really need to reduce that, I can't emphasise it. And also what I use, I've got my safety glasses here. This is really important, you don't use caustic soda in an enclosed area. The fumes can give you corneal damage. So especially if you splash it in your eye. So the next time you see this model, it should be immersed in caustic soda. So just bear with me, and the next clip you'll see is this fizzing away. Right, so what we're going to do is just go out to where the model is, out on the doorstep. It's a bit dark, and just watch out for the magic. Don't do it too fast. I mean, there is always a chance that the glass will shatter. So just very gently, just so the water's covering it. So you need to do this in a well ventilated area. And that should be enough to remove that paint. Right, so let's leave the kettle there. Have a bit of a look. Yep, there's already paint floating. Oh, hello. There we go, that's what I mean. The stuff at the bottom has decided to bubble over. This is why you need to wear PPE. I've got mine on, as you can see. I better clear that up before the wife sees it. Luckily, I'm used to making a mess, and I've always got a mop handy. There we go. As I've said before, this is not a Hollywood production. So just give that a bit of a shake. That's looking good. Okay. Pour it out. Now, very important,